What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today we got a fun one, and this is the first time ever VOD review for this player. This is Shoma, just in general, high elo player, sitting at about 500 LP right now, so not quite crazy Setsuko high, but still very, very high on the ladder for this early on in the set, obviously. And, you know, he's done well in some tournaments and previous sets. Just one of these very solid high elo TFT players. And Shoma is going to play a line today that I do really, really, really want to talk about. That is the main reason we are doing this VOD review, is because Shoma was someone who, you know, got a spot to play this line that we must talk about, because this is one of the new kind of premier lines that you do really, really, really want to angle into if you ever get a spot to play it, and you will not know that you have a spot to play this line if you aren't looking for it. So we start off with a 3 meeple opener here. I think this opener is fine, not amazing, and I am not the biggest believer of like meeple reroll or anything like that. Check our Stargazer, check our Psionic, but really they're not going to be that relevant because we start the game off with Earth, the grab bag here, and the Infinity Protection. And Shoma is pretty quickly going to roll middle there. He also looks very tired. Maybe he should take a nap after this game, honestly. But he sees no scout, no pivot, says, we could try to cook something up with Vhagar. Once again, I am not the biggest believer in that line here. And he takes Earth last second here, and then we'll fit this Lysandra in on the board and says, we're going to slam a Dark Star Emblem. I think, you know, we get there to the Dark Star Emblem slam. I think this is one of the best things that you can be doing this patch. If you think about last patch, you know, you would take an emblem if you could ever slam like a disco emblem and just, you know, go off with it. Just, you know, play Space Groove, have an amazing game, GG's. The game is like super easy. And I think Dark Star this patch is the same level of strength as Space Groove was last patch with, you know, throwing Space Groove onto Riven. Hilariously enough, this Dark Star Emblem can end up on Riven as well, so you can kind of do the exact same thing where you play a solid, you know, whatever game, and then you end up playing very easily into Riven late game. And, you know, we'll see which version that Shoma wants to play here, because we can kind of talk it through, but there's actually multiple versions of this line that you can play depending on who you hit. But the main idea is that 6 Dark Star is a really strong trait. They buffed up a lot of the Dark Star units, so Cho'Gath has been buffed, Karma has been buffed, Jin has been buffed. So all of these units are significantly stronger to play around, meaning that Cho solidifies your early game a little bit earlier, you know, starts stacking earlier, even just like late game, a random 2-star Cho'Gath on your board with just some extra HP that has stacked more across the course of the game is going to be beefier. Karma is now a pretty solid duo carry onto this board. And yeah, you can actually see, let's go back and look at the team planner. The Shoma does team planner out this variant of the board. It's very straightforward to play, because there's a lot of just like easy synergies that exist here. So 3 Shepherd, really nice to play, because you can just play Alawi Meepsy. You get Voyager in for Karma and Vanguard in for Mordekaiser, so boom, 2 very easy units to play. And Riven fits very nicely on this board as well, obviously, because you're playing a Rogue and Kaisa. So this level 8 board, really easy to play, and it's quite easy to just play, you know, 4 Dark Star, but the 5 Dark Star also fits really nicely here when you have the emblem and you just throw it onto Riven. But obviously, if you only do not have the emblem, then you can play just like a 4 Dark Star version. You can fit stuff like Ross on top of this board, other stuff like the Mighty Mech on top of this board, and just have a very good time with it. But the Dark Star emblem is where it does really shine here. Cosmic Hex is actually interesting, and the sword's not bad. He's just gonna opt to take this though, and just grab the Alawi here. Just says, you know, like I could scale up a Cho'Gath across the course of the game, but doesn't really matter. Like what is Cho'Gath really gonna do on this board? And I'd rather just take the items, because this is a pretty high item comp. You know, if you think about the fact that any kind of comp that's going to play around a natural duo carry in stuff like Kaisa plus Riven, or even, you know, Riven plus Karma. Karma can be like a usually just duo carry, but sometimes even if you have an insane amount of items, a 3rd carry. And then you also want to have items for a tank. You're just not going to naturally have all of those items. And so taking more off carousel is very helpful, especially as well because we slammed this spat, which is also going to mean that we're kind of like naturally down an item, in that we, you know, the spat is not like a true item, though honestly it's going to feel like a very nice item onto Riven as we get to her later, if you think about it, right? This item, it has been nerfed, so it only gives, I believe it's 18. Let me verify. Yeah, I'm a beast. 18 AD and AP. So obviously that piece of it, not that crazy. 18 AD and AP, who cares? But once you get up to the 4 Dark Star, you get 45 AD and AP on top of that. Then you are really, really rocking. And that's what we want to do this game. We do manage to fit the 3 Timebreaker in the opener. I like this a lot. Any chance you get to play 3 Timebreaker, I love to play it. I mean, it's not the same as old, 2 Timebreaker, because 3 Timebreaker is a lot harder to play. But anytime you can get it in the early game, especially, in a spot like this where we are, we're lose streaking anyway, you might as well play it. And we do end up actually breaking our streak versus that very strong board, or very weak board, but it's not the end of the world. We've broken our streak, and okay, now we're just in the spot here where we, got a free EXP, and we can potentially get some more next stage. Blue buff going to come down here in the slam and IE as well. This makes perfect sense. These are really, really nice items onto the Kai'Sa, who is very frequently going to be your duo carry. I think this patch, Kai'Sa actually did not receive any changes. Kai'Sa did not get any direct buffs, but just all the buffs around this unit, I think, really woke people up to the fact that this Kai'Sa unit is really, really solid. And so, yeah, we are going to play for Kai'Sa as a duo carry. You can go for Kai'Sa 3 in this line. I imagine this is going to be more of like a tempo-oriented setup, but we'll see what Shoma wants to go for in this spot here. But yeah, I mean, we take another fight there. Not the end of the world, win or lose. Low, I mean, can you forward thinking? I'm always sketched out on forward thinking in spots like this where you're kind of low. Pathetic Forge, I don't know that it has anything crazy. I know the Evelyn's Instinct is like okay on Riven. I mean, more items is never bad. I'm just not sure I don't think you can take that here. Do you want to take Pilfer, though? Yuck. I mean, I just don't think a Pathetic Forge is actually that crazy. I mean, I'd love to see him pick it up here and him take something weird. Do we have to take Pilfer? I don't know. I mean, Cyber Uplink, I love this augment. I mean, it should be not bad in this line. Always, gives you that tier. So this allows us to just have an extra item to play around. Gonna be extra mana gen for stuff like Kai'Sa. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not bad. In general, I'm a huge fan of these cybernetic augments just because they made them get components now. This is like the reverse of Slammin', where Slammin' used to give you a component, now it doesn't, and it feels a good bit worse. And these are the exact opposite. They used to give you no components. Now they actually give you a full component when you pick them up. I guess there's no such thing as a half component. But getting that component is really, really nice to, just get to another item, obviously to allow you to, do cybernetic and stuff like this. We're also in this nice spot where we've picked up extra item from our first augment. We also have extra items off potential carousel. So we might end up in a world where we just have a ton of items to play around, and our life is really, really chill. Only thing that's a little not chill about this spot is we are taking a lot of damage. I will say, if you have a ton of upgrades, you can, maybe sometimes win streak about 4 Dark Star, but really, I mean, because we're not playing Reroll, we are going to be a little bit weaker than, a lot of other people in this lobby, and we're getting punished for it a bit. Storm Hex going to be the pickup here. Really was hoping to find one of these relevant 4-cost units. Does not find it, which is pretty rough. We also saw somebody else in this lobby who already has a Riven, which is not the best thing in the world. Just, -1 Riven, going to be one Riven that is harder to get. I will say, we're going to talk more about this Riven version because this is obviously what Shoma wants to play towards this game. But there is also a Xayah version. The idea is you just play, 6 Dark Star and then fit in 3 Stargazer on top of that. Play Xayah plus Jax as your Stargazers, and then just Nunu because he also fits really, really nicely onto the board. And yeah, I mean, you kind of rock and roll. Obviously, once you get to Jhin, you have the sniper for Xayah. That's one where you do really, you must make it to level 9 or else you're not getting Jhin, and then you're just not having a really good duo carry for Xayah. But that is a comp that caps really, really nicely. One where you'd love to, win streak into that, play some kind of strong early board. Even, low-key, a Primordian early board, you can certainly play into that. He's thinking about this Morello Slam. I think it's totally reasonable. Grants us the heal cut that we need. It feels really nice with the Cyber Uplink because you could just throw this onto anyone, really. Cyber Uplink is going to help them get casting, and then the Morello is obviously going to give you the heal cut. And we are going to take what is hopefully our last loss for a while. We are going to be stuck on odd EXP this game, which isn't my favorite. Not the end of the world, though. But yeah, we're 5 rolls here. Honestly, I mean, you look at the spot, it doesn't look amazing, but the upside is we are very close to getting in 6 Dark Star. Just need to find, Kai'Sa and the Karma, and then we'll be there. And once we hit that, we will have an amazing spike here. We do pick up the Karma here. Shoma considering, yeah, I think we are going to sack one more just because we must, but it is highly scary, I would say, to sack one in this spot. But I mean, you're not going to be able to truly send it here. We are going to look to make Riven items here, going to make GS here and the Even Shroud here, so guaranteeing that we have Armor Shroud on this board. Still, I'm actually not sure what our first Riven item can just be Dark Star, which is not bad here. But aside from that, I mean, we have completed some Kaisa items down to 12 HP, by the way. Oh, this is a scary spot, man. But next augment here, I mean, Gilded Steel could be good. Obviously, you know, something like Jin would be good, but I think we need more. Oh my God, we hit. You must take this augment if you ever get the chance to in this comp. This is the single best augment for this comp. May the force be with you. 4-cost champions and Jin gain 250 or 4 HP and 14% AS. One, these are just, you know, big numbers. And two is it guarantees you the Jin, which is so huge on this board. It means that you can play him over some of the, you know, crummier Dark Stars. We are going to fit him in here and then start the roll down. Do pick up Kaisa, pick up the Thomas Kench on this board. Really nice roll down, actually. Finding some of these other units to play around. Do find the Riven here who has to come in. And we find Riven too. This is huge. Gonna cut the Lysandra because we don't need her at this point. Throw Dark Star Emblem onto her, and then slam the rest of these items. Gonna throw the IGS onto the Riven, so yeah, just full damage there. And then gonna slam some tank items onto Nunu here. So we made it to 6 Dark Star, which is huge. If you guys haven't played around 6 Dark Star, it does two things. One is it, you know, gives you this giant Riven. It is a lot more stats onto her. Goes up to 85% extra effectiveness from Dark Star. And you also get the 2 black holes on your front line, which is these 2 like little. They're usually pretty minor tanks, honestly, but they're gonna soak up some extra damage, give you some extra frontline. I really like this trait a lot, just because like it's a cool, like, you know, you get this like free frontline from the trait, and you know, puts you into an amazing spot here. And yeah, we get to 3-item Riven. The one thing you do have to be careful about is making sure that your strongest Dark Star is truly your strongest Dark Star. This is a huge pickup, by the way. Oh my God, we get the 12 extra HP here, which brings us up to an extra life. That's super nice. But yeah, you are usually, you know, playing around. Yeah, this actually, wow, so maybe his entire idea, I don't know if his entire idea from the beginning, you know, I was thinking of this as like a Kaisa Riven duo carry, and, you know, it is something we could still do eventually. But he just slammed the IGS onto Riven. I'm actually down to pull up the stats and look at these real quick as well. Yeah, so stats on Dark Star Emblem Riven. I mean, a lot of it is still like these kind of like very tanky items. Sterak's just always looks good on this Riven unit. BT Sterak, stuff like this. If you do scroll down a bit, you do see a lot of these GS builds looking really nice here. Kind of similar to like Master Yi. Just this GS allowing her to do enough damage and then using some kind of secondary item with the GS to be tanky enough to survive, and then popping off. This is a spot where we're actually just going all in on damage, which is why I did want to look these stats up, just if there was a reason why Dark Star Riven would be, you know, like super fine with not building tank stats. I don't think there is any reason behind that. I think it is just more of like these are the items that we had and these are the items that we had to get to. And speaking of what we got to, we did pick up a Thomas Kench 2 here. Nice pickup here. We can now tank him. One of the other nice things about this board is just the variety in tanks that you can play. You can play the Thomas Kench, you can play the Nunu, you can play the Mighty Mech. All of those guys fit on this board. And so it's really dealer's choice. You can see we're holding on to Nunu, we're holding on to TK, and we have the Mighty Mech in planar here. So just really nice to have the ability to kind of play whatever you want here. This is going to be a loss, it looks like. We just got blown up by this Master Yi Kindred board. So that is down to 11 HP. Upside is we've locked in top 7 at least. In Flames ended up dying here. And a lot of people are dropping low in this game. And we have so much left to hit here, honestly. Do not need any kind of utility here. We just need to finish out items. Really want triple component here, just so that we can finish out 2 items. And yeah, we do end up getting this Shojin Void Staff set up here, which looks pretty nice. And yeah, we can throw those items there. Once again, remember, if you slam through items onto Karma here, I believe actually it's whatever's the most recently fielded unit. And so Riven was more recently fielded, so Riven is going to get the bonus here. Dark Star make bigger bonus, but you do have to be careful. Sometimes if you slam through items onto a unit that you fielded recently, or even that you've 2-starred, they will become the big Dark Star, and sometimes it'll ruin your life. If Karma had been fielded more recently here and we slammed the 3rd item onto Karma, it would then become Karma, which is pretty bad because, Karma 1 can steal the Dark Starification effect from Riven 2 even. It doesn't care about star level, it just cares about who was fielded more recently. Thinking about selling Nunu here, I think this makes perfect sense, and now we can move the Shojin over over to Kaisa. And then at this point, looks like he does still want to just keep Jin in the Storm Hex. The idea is, you know, once he gets to his 4th shot, he is going to hit the entire board, stun the whole board, and that's going to be really, really nice. But yeah, the other thing to be careful about in this line with the Dark Starification effect is make sure that you do not slam a 3rd item in the middle of combat if you are, you know, not thinking about the fact that that is going to change who your Dark Star is. So, you know, for example, if we have this Kaisa here and suddenly we slam 2 items onto her, well, we 2-starred her recently, she's actually going to become our big Dark Star here. And oh, speaking of big Dark Stars, oh my god, we actually managed to find the Jin 2 now, and now we are really, really popping off. You see, he's going to become the big Dark Star. Shojin GSIE is a beautiful build on him, and yeah, this guy is going to start popping off, and then Riven just kind of gets relegated to random Dark Star emblem holder. Makes sense though, obviously you want to play around the Jin 2 once you reach him, and you can see, by the way, the second that we hit 6 Dark Star, our board just stabilized it so nicely. We lost that one fight, but besides that, we have really just been absolutely clearing people. It's the artificial frontline that you get from the black holes on this board. It's just all the extra stats that you get. Obviously, the huge stats onto the big Dark Star guy, but, you know, even just the 4 Dark Star onto other units is nice. And wow, look at this. Gonna throw Hodge last item onto the Jin here just for more spell crit. Move the Shojin up to Riven. It's a little bit of a wonky build, but hey, getting her casting is not the end of the world. And so, yeah, this is going to be our setup here. This is a scary fight, but can Jin clutch it out? Oh my god, he just barely can't. We lose to Edge of Night roll on the... I think if they had actually not rolled Edge of Night, we would have won that fight. Oh my god. But okay, you can continue to roll down, try to stabilize here. I mean, the board is pretty close to as strong as it can get. It's just we needed Karma too. We actually have missed on Karma, and this is another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're playing this Dark Star line, is... can I reach Karma 2? How contested is Karma in this lobby? Because some games you just cannot reach Karma 2, and those games feel quite bad. Obviously, like Mighty Mech players will steal her. There's actually a lot less like AP flex these days. Also, lock it in, Jin. Oh my god, he wins that fight. That was so close. But yeah, like... AP Flex players are a little bit more rare these days, but if there are any in your lobbies, they are going to try to steal Karma. So just if you are thinking about playing Dark Star, especially from RIP, from 2-1, from Spat here, just make sure you're scouting around the lobby and seeing like, okay, how contested am I going to be in Karma here? Because Karma 2, you can see this game, we get stuck on Karma 1 forever. We do finally find the Karma 2, which is huge here. Going to get the print here, and I mean, really just going to roll down and try to find any upgrade here. Considering Mighty Mech onto this board over Nunu now that we have the Karma 2 and Voyager is kind of a bigger trait onto the board. It also does just seem like a much better trait onto the board than the one that we had. Just going to throw GS onto the Riven. She does not steal it because we have not fielded her recently, but once again, something you have to be afraid of. But the Jin, man, look at this Jin go. This is no sniper Jin, by the way, man. I feel like just buffed up Jin. This guy is a monster on this board. But yeah, we still haven't even reached Sniper, but it's kind of impossible to fit. We don't want to cut out of any of our front line. We could cut Riven, but like, are you really cutting Riven for like this random Zaya here just to get Sniper on the board? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. And so we are just going to continue to play this board for now and try to stabilize as hard as possible and reach top 4, rotating to a very strong board from Kade. I wonder if this is where our story ends. I mean, Jin is doing a lot of work. He's doing a lot of damage. Our front line's living a long time. This Vex is still alive. Karma lock in. One more cast. Oh my god. We win. We beat Kade. It's actually a top 3. I mean, if this doesn't show you the power of the comp, I don't know what it will, man. That was a very capped board from Kade that just 6 Dark Star just absolutely cleared, and we're still 8. I mean, we found the Jin 2 on 8, which was pretty fortunate. But I mean, we're still level 8, and we're beating those fast 9 style boards, rotating to this Jax board, which is, oh my god, this board is very, very capped with Stargazer, and it has a Bramble Vest. I think this might be where our story ends because this board looks insanely strong. Jin doing a lot of work though. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. We actually win that fight as well. We can take a last, oh my god, tank item for TK here. Just the steadfast, right? I guess you could look for something a little bit better here. And you could take steadfast again. It's probably better than double spirit visage, right? And yep, we will slam this here onto the TK. I mean, it's funny, like, that fight was a crazy win, but that's one of the fights that you win, and then you, like, immediately lose the next fight and then just die. That's my vibe. I feel like that's going to happen here, but we'll see. The Jin with the Storm Hex still doing amazing, but not amazing enough to deal with this Fiora board and all the stuff that's going on here. So, and wow, Shoma, very efficient player, already into the next lobby here. But yeah, I mean, still a really, really cool 6 Dark Star game, just showing the power of this emblem in this line. It's just so good. So if last patch you were taking this augment, play in Space Guru, improved. Now you can take this augment and then play 6 Dark Star and have a very similarly good time. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch and Medify. All my links down below. I am going to be streaming today, I guess, as this video is coming out. The Tacticians Trials, my own games, assuming I make it in. I'm literally like the second or third person on waitlist now, depending on how many people. I think one person's already dropped, so I think I might be second on waitlist now. So please, 2 people, don't check in for the tournament. I mean, surely not everybody's going to show up on time. I mean, these are TFT players, so I'm assuming that I'm going to be playing in it. If I don't, my soul will be crushed, but we're not going to worry about that. We will be playing in tournament today, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time is when the tourney starts. So come check the stream out, link down below, and I'll see you guys there. All right, bye-bye.